Hello, thank you for stopping by. My name is Becky and this is Bex Reads, and I needed a video idea for today, and the only thing that I could think of where I didn't have to make notes to try and remember synopsis, I didn't want to do a recommendation video. So today I'm just going to share with you some pretty books because, looking at pretty books is sometimes a hobby in and of itself, and I don't have an extensive collection of beautiful books. Specifically, I'm going to share books with sprayed or stenciled edges. That's the gist of today. I'm going to share with you my small collection of books, tell you where I got them, tell you what I like about them. I'm not going to go into deep synopsis or my thoughts on these books because that's really not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is that I needed an easy video to film and I like pretty things. So let's kick this off. Fall is right around the corner. It seems perfect to start off with a witchy book. I have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sanju Mandana. This is a fairy loot edition and it just has solid block edges. So that's all I'm going to show. I'm not going to show any other detail other than the edges because that's all I'm here for. The next with, I think these are digitally stenciled edges. I'm just going to call them stenciled edges, whether they're stenciled or digitally sprayed, whatever. And that is Between Wrath and Mercy and Between Despair and Hope by Jess Wisecup. I do believe these are Bookish box editions. I got this one from Pango and then I got this one from the Bookish box. But look at these edges. They have lavender flowers on them in different colors, so I like that they match. They go all the way around the book. And I like that these have the lavender on them because lavender is actually mentioned in the book, and so it makes sense to have flowers on the edges of these books. A lot of times with books that have flowers on the edges, they hold no meaning to the book. They're just there to be pretty. So I like that these edges actually mean something to the story, and I think they're very pretty. Next up is probably the first set of Fairy Loot Special Editions that I got, and that is for the Gilded Wolves series. And you can see that when lined up, it has a design in there. So cute. I don't think that the colors really vibe with the overall story. I think they could have done a map or something that would have been much more to do with the plot, because this gives off spring cozy vibes, which is not the vibes of this story. So I'm not sure why they chose this, but it's cute. I put it on my shelves like this. If I didn't know what these books were about, I would think these were definitely a cozy series. So, but they just have blocks sprayed on the tops and bottoms, and then the design in the middle. The next book I have with sprayed or stenciled edges is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, and it just has block sprayed purple edges. Again, this is a Fairy Loot edition. I'm waiting for the second book to come out. But yeah, nothing's too spectacular, but I do like it. I think this is an Arcane Society edition of Entreat Me by Grace Draven. I absolutely loved this story. This cover is beautiful, but these have very different stenciled edges. It's almost gilded. I feel like if I accidentally hit this with my thumbnail or something, that this would come off, which I don't love. I wish they would have just sprayed some details on there with the roses or something. Now this does have a rose on it, and once again that is pertinent to the story because this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So I like that it goes all the way around. I wish they would have sprayed it or stenciled edged it instead of this stuff, because I do feel like it would come off if I read it too frequently, which, let's be real, what are the chances I'm going to read this book all that often because it is so pretty? The very first book that I got ever with sprayed or stenciled edges was A Daughter of the Trolls by Mackenzie Catron. This is, what is this? Where did this come from? It is an unplugged book box edition. So I was curious about this book, and when I saw that they were doing these stenciled edges, I was like, okay, well, I might as well order it because I was curious about it, and I actually really love this book. It's one of my 6-star reads, and I do like the stenciling on this. These are elderberries, which again play a role in the story. I don't love the goldish coloring on it. I think the stenciling is too big and the coloring is just too obnoxious, but it goes all the way around. It does make sense to the story, so I like it for that. It is what it is. Up next is another pretty plain sprayed edge, and that is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is one that you could pick up in Barnes & Noble. It's just got block sprayed purple edges all the way around. Up next is another one that I think you might be able to find in bookstores. I'm not entirely sure. I know I've seen it in bookstores. I just don't know if they're still printing it. And that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. It has stenciled flowers on the side, which I'm not sure what the flowers have to do with the story. I can't really remember flowers being a significant plot point in this story, so I don't understand that. I think it would have been better for like have like a constellation on it of her 7 freckles that map out a constellation. I think that would have fit better. It does have block sprayed on the top and bottom, but you know, it's a cute addition, and it was one that I didn't need a subscription box to get. I actually didn't need anything to get this because it was a gift. But you know, if you can find it off Amazon or Barnes & Noble or somewhere, or in an indie bookstore, there you go. Next up is probably one of my favorite stenciled edged books, and that is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. Look at these stenciled edges. I love it. It fits so well with the theme of this book being an Egyptian-inspired story. The colors, the birds, it goes all the way around, and I absolutely freaking love it. This is an Owl Crate edition that I had to buy off of Pango, but I absolutely freaking love this. I think it is one of the most stunning sprayed edges that I own. Another one I have is Upon a Frosted Star by M.A. Kuzner, and this is a Waterstones edition, so it has these stenciled edges on it. I don't love the design of this because I'm not really sure like how it plays into the story. I feel like they could have done something with a swan or a lake or something like that, because this is a Swan Princess retelling. So or some snow or something, because she turns into a swan at the first snow. So I don't really understand this, but you know, it's fine. It's pretty. It adds a little something to this edition. It does just have block sprayed on the top and the bottom, so I can't complain about it. And it is one that you can order straight from Waterstones, I think, if they're still in stock or whatnot. But I didn't need a Booksbox subscription to get this, and I did love this story. Next up are my favorite duology ever, and that is Radiance and Eidolon by Grace Draven. I think these are Fay Crate editions, if I'm not mistaken, but they have these holographic, almost silver edges that go all the way around. I like the holographic nature of these. I think it's something different that I haven't seen. I do like the silvery tone of it. I'd much rather have silver than gold. I don't really know what this has to do with the story. Maybe if I'm stretching it, I could say it represents the moonlight. But you know, it's not the worst thing I've seen. I do like that it's shiny, let's be real. These aren't my favorite editions. I took off the dust jackets and threw them away because I hated the art style that was on here. But they are my favorite books. So it doesn't matter what special edition comes out of this series, I will get it whether or not it's the most beautiful thing or not. A random book within a series that I have with some sprayed edges is Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. It's the only book in this series that I have that has sprayed edges. This is the Fairy Loot special edition, which isn't all that special because it was one of the like earlier editions that Fairy Loot started doing sprayed edges for, and it's just got like these gray, almost glittery block sprayed edges, which I don't hate. I love the little like glittery aspect of it. Once again, I don't know why they went with this color choice. It's right there, blood. They could have done blood red. They could have done a honey yellow. Would have made more sense to the story. We really need Fairy Loot to redo this series and make it much more flashier, because I do love this series, but I don't own cohesive books for them. They all match cover, but 2 of them are regular editions, and then this is a Fairy Loot edition. So I'd really like if Fairy Loot would do one of their iron editions of the series. And lastly, the most disappointing sprayed edges I own. Yes, I hate these sprayed edges with a passion, but you know, it is what it is, and it just goes to show that sometimes the mock-up version of what the company shows is not how the end product is going to look. And they knew this because they turned off the comments on the post that they made about this. So, you know, a lot of people were disappointed with it. And that is for the Gothic paranormal romance that is Nightshade and Infernium by Carrie Lake. I loved this duology. Totally sucked me in. I like these covers. I'm not like obsessed with them, but I do like them. I like that this is printed on black paper. That was really interesting. I will show you that. See? Printed on black paper. However, what the fuck is this? Can you even see what those images are supposed to be? Very, very faintly. So the mock-up of these, they were supposed to look like stained glass. They were supposed to be extremely vibrant. That is what the mock-up looked like. And I was like, oh, that is stunning. And then I get this. Like, what the fuck? I hate these so much. They do just have black. I don't even know if they're sprayed. I think those are just the pages, to be honest, but they're black. What they should have done is quality tested this, because I know some people are like, oh, well, they didn't realize that it wouldn't look as good stenciled on black pages. If that's the case, they should have sprayed them white and then done the design over. Okay? They should not have sent these out looking like this. They should have given us a refund, because this is shit. I'm sorry, I hate these edges with a passion. But I do like this series, and I will keep these books because they are pretty from this angle. But yeah, those were quite the disappointment. And that's it. That is my entire sprayed stenciled edge collection. I told you I don't have a lot of them. I don't keep them on my shelf just for pretty sake, unless I really like the book. So if I get a Fairy Loot book and I don't like it, I sell that shit, because I'm not going to keep it on my shelf if I didn't like it just because it's got a pretty stenciled edge, which is what I hate about Fairy Loot, because their books are so fucking pretty. Their edges are beautiful. I just wish I enjoyed more of their books. But thank you for spending time with me. Let me know down in the comments, do you collect sprayed stencil edge books? Do they draw your eye? Do you enjoy all the books you read with stenciled or sprayed edges? What's your favorite book with sprayed or stenciled edges? You know, leave any sort of comment below. But if you don't want to leave a comment, could you just leave me a book emoji, I guess? And with that, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, go read one of your books with sprayed or stenciled edges. Bye!